Everybody, hello. Good to see you guys. Welcome to the King's Road, brought to you at the sunny tip of the African continent, in Cape Town, South Africa. My name is Sean. My co-host is Nick. Nick, say how's it to everyone. No one's
Hello,
online
everybody.
yet, but okay.
Lovely to see all of you at some point when you end up watching the stream, whether it's live or recorded.
Yeah,
Glad to have
afterwards.
you here. So, yeah, why not?
It is. Yeah, well, today's going to be a little bit different. We got a quick episode just running through some of the World Cup. We've gone through the first round of teams that finished last night, so every team's played at least once. Nick, what's stuck out to you? Standout performances. Obviously, we got England, and then you got the crazy matches like Japan and Saudi Arabia, as well as Spain. But what stuck out to you?
Yeah, I think it's been like the World Cup of upsets, the World Cup sets.
Yeah.
Maybe should we say
and 0-0 draws?
Yeah, and it's like games that are either complete blowouts or just like 0-0 draws. But I think everybody knows the big upsets, obviously. With Argentina, who have been the bookies' favorites to win it, losing to Saudi Arabia, which is obviously a big one, and then Japan beating Germany. I think those are the two big upsets. And then obviously you look at Spain and Costa Rica, the 7-0, and you're like, I mean, that's just fair enough. Spain have got a great squad. You kind of expect that to happen. The England game as well. I mean, I think we'll go more in depth in that one just because it involved quite a few Chelsea players, or at least some Chelsea players. And and the 6-2, which I think is interesting. And you go like, hey, good for England, good start to the World Cup for them. But how did you still ship 2 goals?
That's true.
And I mean, definitely one of the goals, and I mean, I hate to rag on the guy, but I mean, definitely one of the goals that I saw was just clearly like Maguire's fault. I don't know how that dude is still starting. Even
Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire. But I think interestingly enough, I think one of the big things that came out of that match was like how now it's not just Chelsea fans. It's like England fans from other clubs actually going, how freaking good is Mount? And you'll still get the haters. They'll still get the haters who go, oh, but he's not Neymar. You're like, obviously he's not Neymar. He's a completely different player. But for what he is and for what he does, he was making that team tick. That guy is undroppable for England. He's undroppable for Chelsea. And I mean, we're also looking down the barrel now of like his contract negotiations stalling at Chelsea, which is interesting to me because we got Reece James over the line like super quickly. Why the hesitation with Mount? And it worries me a little bit. I just ordered a Chelsea
but he's not going to go anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, that's my hope, at least. I hope he doesn't go anywhere else. There's talk that he wants like 300,000. I'm like, fantastic. Give him the money. Who cares? Like, give him the money.
Pay the money, buddy. It's Mount. I mean, Mount and James, future captains.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, pay the money. You can't get a more Chelsea player at heart than Mount, as well as Reece James, I would say. Guys who would fight for the club, like fight to the death for the club, going to give everything for the club, grew up in the club, and like, just pay the money. It's a no-brainer. I'm sure it'll all get resolved. I'm pretty sure there is World Cup at the moment, so I'm sure that kind of stuff just is on the back burner. Hopefully nothing to worry about, because we never want to see Mount play for any other team. Sorry, again, we've got someone cleaning our house, so I don't know if you can hear the vacuum in the background, Nick.
It's all good. I can hear a little bit, but it's not too bad.
Okay. Sorry, viewers or listeners. You're just going to have to deal with it. But looking at the World Cup, it's been an interesting first round. I don't know about you, but I haven't been as invested in this World Cup as I have in previous ones. I don't know if it's because the time of the games, they're running morning, they're like throughout the day. I don't know if it's all of the craziness that happened with political stuff having to do with Qatar, and just there's like a lot of disruption and people just aren't as invested. Have you felt the same? I'm just like, World Cup's on in a weird way.
No, dude, 100%. I felt it felt like it almost feels like an international break. Like to me, there's obviously more at stake, and there's obviously a lot more coverage of stuff. But I'd like, in terms of how I feel about it and how I usually feel at a World Cup, where I'm so excited and want to watch games, and we're like, make a plan to like watch the big ones, and it kind of just like, oh, am I near a TV at some point when there's a game on, and if not, like, oh, like, because realistically, I think it's also time of year. Like, it feels weird to have a World Cup now, like, and because in the back of your mind, going like, I think it's always like the season's finished, cool, let's do World Cup, and then we're going to start planning for next season. And I think in like a lot of people's minds, it's almost like, okay, like I just don't want my players to get injured because freak, we've got to go straight back into the season. Like, like the whole dynamic is different. But I also think like with this World Cup specifically, there's been a lot of controversy around it, a lot of like negativity around the thing itself. And there's also, it just also, if you've been watching a lot of those videos, and I don't know how true it is, but there's a lot of people saying like a lot of like fake fans, like fans who've been like paid to like wear certain kinds of shirts and like try to create an atmosphere. And you're like, it just feels very flat. Like people on the ground may have a different experience of it, but from the coverage side of things, it feels like the hype is just not there. And it's actually, what I was thinking about recently is like, we obviously live in South Africa. We had World Cup 2010. It was like incredible, but obviously we're going to think that because we're like on the ground, right?
The best.
Look at all the comments of like people and stuff. And they're like people who aren't South African just going like, World Cup 2010 set the bar too high, So there's like almost like this universal appreciation for just how awesome like World Cup 2010 in South Africa was. And so like I'm stoked about that as a South African. We've hosted like what many people like regard as like probably one of the best World Cups ever. So it is also a high bar for other countries to try to beat,
I do think that's also a lot of it's down to Shakira like putting out that banger that everybody associates with the World Cup. Waka waka. Just can't beat it, man. I agree with you. It's just not the same. And maybe it'll pick up now when we get into like round of 16s. I'm sure it will, because the bigger teams usually will get through, and then we'll have some decent matches to watch. But I'm not going to take hours off work to watch, Qatar versus Ecuador. Even though it was actually quite an entertaining game, and I did watch it. But still,
I'm not going to take time off this game. I did actually take time off to watch. So.
Even though I did,
what the episodes like? No one ever scored. I'll never suggest that people will score 4 goals in a game, but I think it's going to be 2-2. So
2-2. Exactly. I love that. So, watching the first round of games, any team that you think is going to win it?
Dude, I think if you look at that Brazil team last night, I watched a bit of that game. I watched most of that game while I was kind of cooking and then while I was having my dinner and stuff. And like that squad is just stacked. Like if you look at actual, like every single position is a superstar. And there's a few teams that have that. I even think I was looking at the Portugal squad as well. I mean, they've got like a pretty stacked squad as well. I just don't know if they're going to bring it all together. So, for like the whole run. I mean, obviously, I think they are, if I'm not mistaken, like reigning European champions. But I just don't know if they're gonna put it all together. And like I think I said in our last episode, I was banking on potentially Argentina, and I still think that they can come good. I mean, one result isn't going to nail in the coffin. But it is just surprising to me. They're coming off like a 36 game unbeaten run. Also, it's like if you look at their squad as well, they've got a crazy squad.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Did you see that front line for Uruguay? Dude, Suarez, Cavani.
They also got a great team.
That is insane as a front line. So you never know, like you never know. But I think if you want to look at like some Chelsea player involvements, you look at the USA drawing to Wales. I think that's a kind of fair. Wales and USA I'd probably put on the same level. So I think that's decent. And Pulisic got the assist, but outside of that, I'm not entirely sure how much of the game he like really impacted. But I'd say that one big negative, I don't think any Chelsea players have really had a huge negative in the World Cup other than Mendy. I don't know if did you see the highlights from the Senegal Netherlands game?
I saw it.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, shame he stuffed up big time.
But what is happening to this dude? Like, what has happened to him? I mean, he went was it 3 years ago? He's like rated
such a fall off
in the world, and now he sucks.
He does. Shame. Yeah, it happens, and that's what I was saying. I think a few weeks ago, I was like, with our goalkeepers at Chelsea, I really don't think, this is just my honest opinion, that Mendy and Kepa are it. Like in terms of that upper bracket of goalkeeper that you want. And hey, maybe he'll turn around, and I hope he does. But yeah, it was sad to see for someone who was absolutely phenomenal. What, a year, 2 years ago, like just recently, to just fall off the back of a bus. It's pretty sad, man.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like it almost coincided with the African Cup of Nations victory. It's like he was on this like huge trajectory, won the African Cup of Nations. As soon as that happened, I mean, I don't think there's any correlation necessarily. I'm just saying time-wise, it just feels like that's when he's on this downward trajectory. And I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. And I think there's been a lot of rumors about like Chelsea going in for different keepers, and it feels like it basically feels like we just keep raiding Brighton the whole time. Like we've gone for like all of the staff. Like we've gotten like 2 or 3 of their staff members. Like that we've taken across now. Apparently, obviously we've got Kukureya. Like we're apparently going back in for Trossard. Now there's talk that we're in for Robert Sanchez, goalkeeper, and you're like, guys, like don't have to be Brighton. Like we can actually
just leave them alone. Just let them be.
But so I think there's like too much talk of us going in for other keepers for it to be clearly the management isn't happy with the keepers we have. And so there was, I even saw, I think it was last night or something, like one of the Twitter guys who is one of the reporters was saying he's heard from 2 different sources that we're going in for Leeds' goalkeeper. I think it's Ilan Meslier.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's pronounced.
Is he good though?
I don't know much. As I was gonna say, I don't know enough about him. I've never heard about this guy going like crazy. Then I saw this morning, we're going to be going in for Diogo Costa, the Portugal goalkeeper. So it's like we're being linked with so many different goalkeepers. Like where there's smoke, there's fire. Like at some point, it feels like our management is definitely looking at that as an area to strengthen. Even though weirdly enough, most teams don't have like 2 world class goalkeepers like we do.
It's true. It's true. The funny thing is, I think halfway through the Portugal match, those links started coming out of us being linked with Costa. And at that moment, he started like letting all the goals in, which is so Chelsea.
Yeah, no, that's so funny,
gosh, only at Chelsea, man. It's also an interesting stat. I think the last 4 European competitions, so Porto are the reigning European champs, as you said. But I think the last 4 Euros, the top scorer at the Euro went, whatever country the top scorer of the Euro was, that same country won the World Cup the following, not following year, but the following competition. The next one. And the last Euros, Ronaldo was the top scorer in Euros. So that could be interesting if it happens 4 years in a row. I think it was Griezmann. Previous year was, I can't remember. And the previous year was, I think, David Villa. I think. I might be wrong. But yeah, really interesting. Who's been so standout teams? Obviously, as you said, Brazil. I agree with you. I think, and I've said Brazil from the start. I'm a big Dutchy fan. Absolutely love the Dutch. I support the Dutch in the World Cup, like wholeheartedly. I never expect them to win, unfortunately, except 2010. That was a heartbreak for me. That was a bit of their golden generation too. But I agree with you. I think Brazil have the team. You know what they also have is they have Marquinhos and Silva, 2 solid older players with leadership, and I think those are the type of players that get you through pretty far in a World Cup. So I'm hoping Brazil go all the way. I expect to see Portugal up there, Spain, England, hopefully Netherlands, and obviously Argentina. How great would it be, bro, if the Argentina-Portugal final? That would just be.
That would be great. That would be
so
clash of the
epic.
Titans.
Yeah,
basically like the two powerhouses in their last World Cups. Like who's going to come out on top? Like neither of them have won it. Like that would be mad, dude. I wonder if that's if that's even possible with the way that the knockouts are set up. I wonder if that's even a possibility. But
someone said it's not, but I might be. I'm not too sure. I haven't actually looked.
I think so like there's a couple of teams that I think have performed well. and I would say, I don't know if you watched the Portugal-Ghana game yesterday, but dude, Ghana were looking solid, bro.
They've been good.
Like,
Apparently, they got
they had,
schneid by a terrible refereeing decision and a
oh,
penalty.
yeah, it was the Ronaldo penalty, dude. The first goal of the game. Yeah, it was very, very soft, eh? Very, very soft.
Really?
And they didn't even take it to VAR check, which was like unreal to me,
Wow.
because I
Yeah.
really do think if they had checked it, it would have been overturned. But I also think it's like, I don't know, it's like, it's Ronaldo. These dudes kind of,
Yeah.
like the whole thing of like first male player to score in
Score
5
5.
World
Yeah.
Cups, or I think the first player or female player was Marta, I think, from Brazil.
Yes.
I think.
Brazil, yeah.
But just interesting. Yeah, it's so interesting. So there's so much narrative in these things as well. People, I think, are sometimes hesitant to like break the narrative, of like the
Yeah.
situation. So I'd say another team that never seems to quite perform to their level, but once again, feels like the last chance for this golden generation is Belgium. So they've got a really good squad, but they just never seem to bring it all together. And I mean, even then, like scraping through against Canada with a Batshuayi goal of all things. Is Batshuayi still on our books? I can't actually remember if we've actually sold him, if he's still on our books.
No, I think we sold him, eh?
I'm
pretty sure we sold him.
We're talking.
I hope we sold him, because if we still have him, that'd be very sad. I'm sure he'd be the first player that they got out besides Barkley, and Drinkwater. Jeez, we've had some stinkers signed for Chelsea, bro.
Yeah. No, it says current team Fenerbahce, but like we know that, but I don't know if he's.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna go look on Transfermarkt.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's been sold.
Yeah.
The bat.
Oh well. Anyway, I can't seem to find it, and my other screen's in the way, so I'm not going to do that. What was I going to say now? So another thing to talk about is the potential rollout of the new England / dream Chelsea midfield.
Oh yes, please! What a Mount Rice Bellingham.
Yo, I mean, it looked solid.
That's a great midfield.
It looked decent. Like,
it did.
You got Mount running the like the eight role,
box to box,
which I think suits him well. But then, like afterwards, you never know, like, because this is the problem, right? So Bellingham, I think, has proven himself and actually shows a lot more quality in his young age than other players who've been super hyped.
Yes.
My worry is that maybe it's just that I haven't personally seen enough of him to go like, no, this dude's the real deal.
Yes.
And you start seeing like these things coming out going like, oh, Bellingham, he's like the best of Lampard and Gerrard combined. You're like, that is quite a claim to make. Like,
that's a huge statement. These
are dudes who played who are like probably like two of the top 3 English midfielders of all time, and you're saying he's as good as 2/3 of the best English midfielders ever. Like that's quite a claim.
19
also,
years
like,
old.
These dudes did it like 10, 12, 15 years consistently. So when it's a tough claim to make. I'm not saying you can't do it, but what I am saying is I very clearly remember, and this is still one of my favorite things ever, is, and I think I said it to you, is about 5 years ago or so, or however many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, when they were going Dele Alli. He's better. Yes. He's going to be better than Lampard. He's going to be better than Lampard. He's already at Lampard's level. And I remember at the time I was saying, like, he's had one good season. Like, wait till he's done 10, 12, 15 years in a row consistently. Then we can talk. And now look at what's happened to him. He can't even start in freaking
Turkish league.
He sucks. He sucks, dude. And I hate
terrible.
him. Mainly he's a Spurs player. But I mean, the guy was so cocky. He was so arrogant, thought he was like the best in the world, got hyped up to oblivion, and then just.
But he'd always score against Chelsea. Oh, gosh.
But he was scoring at Chelsea when he was in those like 1 or 2 years where he was like super performing. And then it's like every club he's when he went to Everton, I thought this is probably his level. Like he'll probably actually start to fly here. Even then, sucked. Went to Turkey. Like, okay, surely the dude's gonna shine in Turkey. Even there, the manager's like, this guy sucks. Like he doesn't train properly. He's like he's terrible. So like I just don't want to see the same thing happen to Bellingham, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think it will. I think he's a completely different type of player, but I think mentality actually plays a lot into it more so than skill level. Because I think Dele Alli probably is very skilled, but his mentality, he hasn't got that like mentality to be a top level player. So who knows?
For
I don't
sure.
know, but
Yeah,
watching Rice in that game just like be that like screen, and he's just going in this like horizontal sort of thing, just screening. And there's so many times I've watched him just cut out a pass, like
great.
effortlessly. It's like you don't even almost notice it if you're not looking for it. But he'll just step in front, and he'll just block a channel or block a pass or cut, and he just stops attacks like that. And I was like, that's exactly what we need. We don't have a player
That's
that
what
does
we need,
that.
bro.
Right?
Yep.
So
more than anything else, that's what we need.
Exactly. And I think the problem now is that as Bellingham starts to play better, his price just goes up, and the people that are in for him are just going to get more and more. And so I don't know if we even stand a chance.
Yeah, and I mean, we got the likes of Liverpool and United about to be put up for sale by the looks of things. So who knows what owners are coming in and what money they're going to want to splash and make statement signings. So his head could turn. I hope and I pray that we land Rice and Bellingham. We'd be sorted for the next 10 years and we'd win everything. Like hands down, we'd win just everything. I'd be stoked with Rice, like first and foremost, just land Rice. Like that DM, as you said, DM role, which we've been lacking since Matic in his prime. And you can see since 2017 we've won stuff, but we haven't won the league and we struggle in the league. And you need that DM who just shields that defense and breaks the play, and he does it so well. And he's the type of player, as you said, like you're like, Declan Rice, people think he's okay, but if you watch him, if you actually see what he does, like he is on another level, like incredible player. Chelsea have to sign him first and foremost, or a player in his profile. Sorry, but I think Rice is probably one of the best in the world.
Yeah, and I think what I also said to you last episode, which another thing that Rice, particularly as a person, brings is leadership. He is like captain material, and like I say, I don't think he'll captain Chelsea, but I also remember mentioning last time when we went through that heyday of basically, you have John Terry as your captain, but on the field you've got Drogba as a captain, Lampard as a captain, Ballack who's a captain, Cech who's a captain. Like these are guys who are all international captains, and so you've got like. You need captains on the field. Like even if they're not the physical captain, you need that leadership ability. Totally. And I think what Rice also would bring to us specifically is an ability to go back to playing in the back four. So we can then utilize that extra player in a different position, actually make the most of our attacking qualities, and he brings a bit of protection to Thiago Silva potentially, who isn't the fastest and thrives in a back five or back three, should I say. Which is interesting to see how he's going to do it in Brazil, because he played last night for Brazil in a back four, and obviously they weren't up against like the toughest opposition, but it's just not his at this point in his career. Like I don't think the wisest of moves.
No, but I don't know if you watched that match, because Casemiro was playing a phenomenal game in that DM role, just exactly what we're talking about, shielding the back four, shielding the likes of Thiago Silva. And again, that's it. I'm like, that's exactly what we need, that traditional DM, just to slot in there, who can drop, if we need to shift into a back five transition, he drops into that third defender position, the two central defenders push out. I mean, it's perfect. I have seen, I think it was Simon Phillips, like a decent journo talking about Potter's shift. He's already been talking to the team about shifting to a back four. So there is already, like, they know this is where we're going. And I think, honestly, the players must know this. We've had such, like a manager coming in here, pulling in some of their own players, other players. It's like a mix of these random players. And I think when Tuchel came in, he was like, let's sort out defense. Let's go back five. And it worked for us, and we saw something that worked. And then obviously Graham Potter came in, and he's inherited that, and he's just doing what's worked and what's familiar with these players. But I don't think that's the long-term goal. And you're hearing reports of it, so it's positive. I'm like, the reports of Rice and being linked with DMs, moving to a back four. We've got a lot to be excited about. I wanted to ask you, just with that Brazil game, did you see Richarlison's goal?
Dude, whoa.
It was great.
Yeah,
It
totally.
was great.
It was
I,
good.
it was hilarious because on this WhatsApp group that I'm on, I messaged the group, and Richarlison was having a mare like 5 minutes before he scored his 2 goals. I was like, I literally messaged, Richarlison is useless, isn't he? And then 5 minutes later, he scored his first, which was a bit of a poacher's goal. I mean, it was nothing fancy, but his second, and it was great. But I wanted to ask you, talking about great goals at World Cups, can you rack your brain and tell me what is the best goal you've ever seen that you remember watching
100%.
in a World Cup?
Dude, I'll say
what is yours? Yeah.
just on that Richarlison thing, I saw a really funny tweet afterwards, just saying, if Richarlison keeps playing like this, he'll finally get a move to a big club.
Yes.
So good. No,
awesome.
so I mean, the best goal, has to be Chabalala, bro. I like it can't. It's because it's
sure. Wow.
Like it's like true. It's your country being like it's like your country scoring in your country's World Cup. It's a banger of a goal. It's like of its own accord. I mean, there's going to be way better actual physical technical goals, but for like the all-in-one emotion and goal and what the meaning of it was all wrapped up in one, like that has to be my best World Cup goal. It was such a banger.
Okay. That's a good one.
And what was yours?
I forgot about it. I'm a huge Dutchie fan, as I've said. So 2010 World Cup, same World Cup. Giovanni van Bronckhorst, I don't know if you remember, he scored an absolute screamer against Uruguay. And I was watching I had a whole bunch of friends over, and they were all going on with me. They're like, Uruguay's going to get Suarez, we're going to defeat you. I was only Dutch supporter, and Van Bronckhorst just put his laces through that ball. You couldn't get like a clean hit, and it was so far out. If you go and watch it on YouTube, nearly on the byline, and like half. Oh, dude, it was just. And I just screamed and I ran around. I was like, this is mental. So that's probably be my. Yeah.
But I think it was also so good about the 2010 World Cup was like the ball, the Jabulani, dude. That ball is like
just moved.
It was like. And I remember specifically if you talk about Uruguay, what a ridiculous World Cup Forlan had. If you go back and look at some of the goals that Forlan scored, bro, it's like it's almost like he mastered the Jabulani like before anybody else could figure it out. And all of his goals, the balls are and like keepers just like, and he was scoring like free kicks and like 40-yard like screamers. The dude was like had a ridiculous World Cup, like not even just you go like a guy had a good World Cup because he scored like 4 goals. Like this guy scored however many goals, and all of them were like ridiculous. So it's just a good.
Imagine imagine Roberto Carlos with a Jabulani ball. Jeez, that would be.
He would have literally. It would have gone like around the goal and back.
Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, we just doing a quick episode today, but what I do want to get like your thoughts on your opinion is who do you think is going to be top scorer? Who do you think is going to be clean sheet, whatever it is, the person, Golden Glove. Let's go that one because clean sheet sounds a bit dodgy. And what else do they do? Assists? Is that even a thing? What's the other major ones?
Yeah, why not? Dude, that's so hard.
Goals, keeper, and assists.
I mean, if you're looking at who scored, like I was just trying to look at the Spain scorers. Teams. I mean, they didn't have anybody who really. So I mean, I don't think anybody scored 3. No one scored a hat trick in the first round. So like,
I don't think so.
A bunch of players who are on like 2 goals each. And it's just so hard because like, you can look at someone like a Ronaldo, but I don't think he's gonna top score. You've got other dudes who are scoring 2, like Saka. I don't think he's going to be top scorer.
Yeah.
I think it was Ferran Torres who scored 2 for Spain.
But he won't.
I don't think he's going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, even Richarlison scoring 2 last night. Like maybe Richarlison, but I mean, it's also like, it's usually the dude who's also your penalty taker, because it's usually that like if your team gets 1 or 2 penalties, like that might just push you over the line in terms of being the top scorer. And obviously Richarlison's like that'll be Neymar. So maybe Ronaldo, but I just don't know if he's got the legs in him to actually be banging in like 6 goals or whatever.
Yeah.
How many did he score 2
He scored
yesterday?
one.
He scored the one. He scored the penalty.
He scored
And
one.
it was
Yeah.
Felix, and then dude and Rafael Leao. Did you see his goal?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, obviously we've been
Yeah,
linked with him. I mean,
ridiculous.
that was a good goal, and he'd only been on the field for like 2 minutes as well. So
Yeah. Well, I'm calling Ronaldo as top scorer.
really,
Yep, I am. I think he's gonna. I mean, he's Portugal captain. It's different to the United situation. He's gonna rule the roost in Portugal, and it's just. So I think goalkeeper. Who was playing for Brazil? Was it? It wasn't Edison. They put Allison in.
yeah.
I mean, they got
yeah.
2 world-class keepers. It's crazy. So I'd say Allison is going to get Golden Glove only because he's shielded by Silva and Marquinhos. And the assist is a tough one. I would say, geez, someone who's super creative.
De Bruyne? Or
Yeah, you'd have to say De
Bernardo
Bruyne.
Silva or something, dude. Like one of the Portuguese dudes.
That's a good one, yeah. Or who's French? Who's there's Mbappe. Jeepers. Forgot about Mbappe. He could get Golden Boot.
He could, but I mean, what is so?
No, I'm
they're
sticking
playing,
to.
So France
Okay,
are playing Denmark
I'm.
next,
That's me.
but-
Ronaldo, Allison, De Bruyne. That might be, bro.
Yeah, bro. What about Oli Giroud, ex Chelsea boy, getting 2, banging in? He's one more the all-time
He's
top
great,
scorer.
eh? I don't know why we let him
So,
go.
I know. Yeah, Mbappe. Look, Mbappe's already on the board with 1, so I mean that could be a good shout. But I'm just looking at the next round of fixtures, and you've got like, Portugal. I mean, Portugal playing Uruguay. That's
Yeah.
a tough next game. There's some bangers coming up. Like, where's the next round? Here. I mean, England USA is going to be a good game as well.
There's Harry Kane too, huh?
Yeah. We'll see if he. Where was the thing? There was is it like Germany, Spain, or something? It's like in the next round or something like that. Or
are they in the same group?
I'm trying to look here.
Let's look this up quick. World Cup tables.
Yeah. Who was it? I just saw something now that
Bear
I
with
thought
us.
such a big game. Yeah, sorry everybody. We're doing this on the fly.
No, Spain. Yeah, Spain and Germany. You're right. Spain and Germany in the same group.
Germany, yeah, on Sunday. Yeah, 2 days time on Sunday. So
Yeah.
that's the next round. I mean, that's a big game, dude. So
that is.
We'll see. I mean, it's gonna be interesting if Germany. I mean, Germany kind of had a free hit and then lost that game, and the way that Spain have come out scoring 7 goals. I mean, I'm backing Spain to beat Germany in that game, and then Germany are out, aren't they? Out of the World Cup. I mean, essentially they're out of the World Cup.
Yeah, they'd be out. Well, it depends if Japan beat Costa Rica, which they should, the way that they're playing. They were phenomenal, bro. They would.
Yeah, but then Spain has 2 wins, and Japan has 2 wins, right?
Yeah, then they're out. Germany would be out. Yeah, Germany have to beat Spain.
So Germany have to beat Spain, which I just don't think they're going to do. I mean, what a mad! Because I mean, they also at the beginning of the squad. They got a good squad. They should be doing.
But they're playing players out of position. Like he's putting Havertz as a striker again. Havertz is not a striker. I don't know why they keep putting that guy as a striker. And he had no touches on the ball because he's just not in his natural position.
Yeah, I don't know. Look,
because who are your 3, bro?
Okay,
I need your answers.
I'm gonna go. Okay, Argentina playing Mexico, and then who are they playing? Poland. Ooh, that's interesting. I reckon Messi's going to get 3 in the group stages, 3 in the next 2. I think Messi could do it if they go all the way, bro. I think Messi could score it.
Okay.
They've also got a pretty solid squad with a lot of assist makers, so that could be interesting.
Yeah.
I think I might go. I will go. Yeah, I'm going to go for one of the Portuguese players. I'm going to go Bernardo Silva for assists, and then I think I'm also going to go. Are we going countries? Or are we going individuals for least goals conceded?
Golden Glove.
Okay, so it has to be
for Golden Glove or just least goals.
Well, I don't know because if you got a team who concedes 2 goals through the World Cup, but they keep switching between their 2 keepers, then it's who do you go
That's true.
Them they as a unit like defended.
Okay,
well.
no, let's do that, because Brazil in that instance they could easily go between the two.
That's what I'm saying. So I
You're
think
saying
Brazil will
Brazil.
concede the least goals, but whether they
Yeah.
only play Alisson or they switch between Alisson and Edison, I don't think it makes a difference to them because they're both world-class keepers. I think, but as a defensive unit, I think Brazil will concede the least amount of goals. So I say Messi, Bernardo Silva, Brazil. Yeah.
Awesome. What does the winner get?
Well, I don't know. We'll just pay for a beer or something next time we go out for beers.
Okay, cool. Pay for a beer. Let's do it.
Why not?
Sounds good, bro. Let's go, Ronaldo.
Yeah, dude. I think it'll be interesting. I think we'll probably come back and maybe do like another pod, like maybe once the group stages are done. I don't know how long that is. When do the group
I think it's like a week
finish?
and a bit.
2nd of December. So yeah, in like a week's time, bro.
2 weeks. In a week. Yeah.
No, round of 16 starts on the 3rd of December. So next Friday is the 2nd.
Oh, that's soon, bro. Jeez, they're pumping through these matches.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll be able to, even if we do it not next week Friday, but like the following Monday or something, we could even be.
Yeah.
We'd even have some of the 16s to be talking about. But I think we'll maybe just give it a week a bit, and we'll talk about what's happened in the interim, and then we'll just keep on that. I think it'll be quite fun just to touch base.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this, let us know in the comments, who do you think is going to win the World Cup? Why do you think they're going to win the World Cup? Who do you think top scorer is going to be? Goalkeeper, Golden Gloves, as well as assist maker. I don't know if that's the right words. Let us know. Get involved in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Assist champion. That's it. Assister. Awesome, Nick. Good to chat, bro.
You too, bro. Nice to catch up. Nice to see you again, and it's nice to always just chat football. And we'll touch base again in a week and a bit.
Yeah. Cool. See ya, bro.